mates, Julie here, and you have permission to come aboard the very first edition of The Boaters TV. You know, someone asked me the other day, The Boaters TV? I like the sound of it. To what type of boaters are you talking? Well, I can sum that up pretty easily. All of them. That is, all of you. Boaters TV talks to owners of boats of every shape, size, hull type, and function. Fishing boats, ski and sport boats, cabin cruisers, sailboats, yachts. Whether you row, paddle, or pedal your vessel, or cruise at 30 knots. Whether it's behind your house, across the lake, at a yacht club, or a marina. Whether you're on the Gulf of Mexico, Lake Havasu, or sailing the coast of Catalina. The Boaters TV talks to deep-sea fishermen and the freshwater bunch, to off-coast racers and to lake pontooners, to owners of all sailing vessels under the sun, y'all's sloops, ketches, cutters, and schooners. Your boat might be a cobble, a john, a dory, a skiff, an airboat, or a banana. You might keep it in Ocean City, Maryland, or on Lake Wawasee in northern Indiana. We talk to owners of runabouts, walkarounds, center consoles, dinghies, and tenders. Or you might own or crew on a mega, super, or giga yacht. You know, the ones with those big old fenders. We talk to owners of those catamarans, twin hull or multi. Our audience is recreational boaters of all kinds, whether your preferred body of water is fresh or if it's salty. You are my audience if you own a globe circumnavigating trawler yacht, or simply a rigid hull inflatable. PWCs aren't boats, but they float, so the fact that they're part of what we cover is not debatable. Jet skis, wave runners, sea-doos, oh my! And you owners of windsurfers and kayaks are welcomed too. Not to mention all owners of houseboats. And yeah, you, the guy with the canoe. Owners of cuddy cabins, bass and flatboats, stern-drive cruisers and cigarette boats which are smokin'. Wooden, antique, and classic boats, whether up and running or slightly broken. You are all the audience for my broadcasts, from the owners of hovercrafts to Boston whalers, water skiers, wakeboarders, scuba divers, and snorkelers, and all you hunky naval sailors. From the Bahamas up the East Coast seaboard, bodies of water all across the country and over to Cali, boaters of the U.S. and Canada too, it's time for you to rally. Whether on ponds, reservoirs, rivers, or streams, great big lakes, large sounds to the sea, you can find us here broadcasting to you. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's The Boaters TV. And with that, here's what's making a splash in nautical news. The NMMA, that's the National Marine Manufacturers Association in case you didn't know it, they're based up in Chicago. Nearest body of boatable water to them, good old Lake Michigan. Website, discoverboating.com. You should check it out. Lots of good information there. Anyway, they, the NMMA, released their 2006 Recreational Boating Statistical Abstract, say it 3 times fast, last week, and it shows that 1/3 of U.S. adults went boating in 2006. That's an increase of 1.3 million Americans over 2005 to total more than a whopping 73 million Americans who are hip to the fact that boating is the coolest recreational activity on the planet. Hey, at the Boaters TV, we show our bias. And president of the NMMA, Tom Damrich, communicated that same sentiment by saying, and I quote, "We were excited to see boater participation increase to 73 million last year because it reinforces our belief that more and more people are finding out that getting out on the water is one of the best ways to relax, have fun, and enjoy time with friends and family." And amen to that. Now, what I think is really cool about those statistics is it means that there's a potential audience of nearly 73 million of you for my new show here, The Boaters TV. The report also revealed that the number of boats in use increased to nearly 18 million in 2006, and boat registrations surpassed 13 million for the first time since 2001. And finally, according to the association, boaters spent approximately $16 billion on food, drinks, groceries, restaurants, and fuel associated with their boating excursions. And what do you want to bet the biggest portion of that was the price of fuel? Which is an appropriate lead into our next segment, Power Play, a feature devoted to all of you powerboat enthusiasts out there. Fuel prices got you down? Some boaters say they plan to spend more time dockside this summer rather than burn costly gas on the water. Well, buck up my little boaters, because Julie here's got some solutions. Ways to trim costs, but not necessarily the outings. You could try to buy less expensive gasoline at roadside service stations. Maybe cut back on taking the longer trips, or let your engines cool a little more often instead of running them all day. Or how about these helpful tips for getting better fuel efficiency out of your boat? Make sure the hull of your boat is clean, especially if your boat has been sitting in the water for a long time. A clean hull will reduce underwater drag and you'll cruise through the water much easier. Next, follow the basic rule. Keep your engine well tuned. It'll use fuel more efficiently, reduce your fuel consumption, and your engine will live longer. Not to mention a well-serviced engine will discharge fewer pollutants into that precious H2O that floats your boat. Next up, avoid too much idling. When you stop, turn off your engine and start paying attention to how much time you idle at the dock. Minimize the amount of time you spend doing that, most likely waiting on other people, and you'll save money. And before heading out, remove excess weight from your boat. Sorry, Aunt Bertha, but you can't come on the boat today. Seriously though, the lighter the boat, the less horsepower needed to propel it. Oh yeah, and here's one other gas-saving tip. I was at the recent Plywood Regatta in Dania Beach, Florida, an event put on by the Marine Industries Association of South Florida, where young middle school and high school students come out to learn about boat building, build their own boats made of plywood, decorate them, and then spend a whole day racing and testing their seaworthiness. While watching the race that day, this guy gave me a great idea. If you're looking to save money on fuel this summer, simply become your own outboard engine. And that about wraps it up for another edition of, and actually this was the Maiden Voyage edition of, The Boaters TV. Join us on Wednesday where we'll tell you a little bit about how you can get a piece of the world's largest sailing yacht. 2, we'll cover a little nautical nomenclature, boat decor, and a little nautical know-how. Meanwhile, we want to hear from you. If you've got some nautical news to share, or better yet, any boat bloopers videos for us to use in our soon-to-be-released Ship of Fools segment, drop me a line, julie@theboaters.com, or leave us some feedback on our video blog at theboaters.tv. Until then, throw off those bow lines and safe and happy boating to you all. And that would be all 73 million of you watching. This program was brought to you by the letter A. That's A for Alpha, and meaning I have a diver down. Keep well and clear at slow speed.